What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another beautiful episode of For Better or Worse. I have the always reliable, always handsome AustinsProps waking up super early out there on the West Coast to make this possible. Nick, you are soft wherever you are for being sick or whatever. You know, it is what it is. Austin, how you feeling? How you doing? Appreciate you getting up nice and early.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm charged up, ready to rock. It's Sunday morning. Vibes are up. You know, what else? What else can you complain about?
That's true. That's a good point. Well,
Take a drink there, hydrate.
Just to be clear, Austin is up at like 6 a.m., I believe, just getting this done. He does rock his Eagles jersey, which isn't cool anymore because they lost. You know, they're not the NFL's golden team anymore, or they could still be.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Let me just type this in real quick. Got to send this link out. Boom, boom. All right, we're good. So we got a weird NFL week this week. Like a lot of close games, a lot of injuries I want to talk about. We're going to talk about some plays. I'll give out my play first real quick that I already posted on Twitter, and then we'll get into some games that are intriguing and should get a lot of watch time from a lot of viewers. So my first play is Daniel Carlson over 1.5 field goals. I knew Austin was coming on, so I wanted to put a kicker out just to piss him off because he despises kicker props. But he's the GOAT besides Justin Tucker. If Justin Tucker wasn't alive, like he is the best kicker in the world. He's like the KD to LeBron, where it's like, you know, his whole career, you know, if Justin Tucker didn't exist, he'd be the guy.
He's Robin. He ain't that man. He's Robin.
Exactly. But he gets it six of the last 8 weeks for this season. And he struggled the last few weeks, but the Broncos, it's divisional. He got 4 field goals versus them earlier on in the season. And the Broncos give up the most 30 to 39 yard field goals, which means their red zone defense is tough. And if they get there, I think the Raiders take points in this divisional game. The Broncos defense is tough as it is. And even if he doesn't get those 30 to 39 yarders, this guy can crush a 55 yarder in his sleep. And it's in Denver. The ball travels a little further. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm going to go crazy with this. I might have already. But the more I'm talking about it now, the more I'm getting excited about it. So,
I hear you.
What are your thoughts on that kicker prop? Come on.
Honestly, I don't really touch him very much. I like it. There's nothing going wrong with guys that are consistently hitting, obviously. I just am scared with the offense for the Raiders that they've put out. However, Derek Carr was crying at his presser a few days ago, so maybe they come out fired up, moving the ball. They're tired of getting shut out and scoring 3 points, so I kind of like it. I mean, they've definitely underperformed any expectation this season. You know what I mean? So
yeah, bad.
I mean, it's a spot where they have to score points in the divisional game. I know they're 2-8 or 3-8 maybe. So I mean, they're not going to just roll over. They're trying to win games, you know. So I think
they're 0-5 on the road. They're not
terrible, man. Like, and last time we took that damn kicker prop, they scored 3 points, right? Or 0 points.
Yeah, 0 points. 0 points.
They got shut out. So then we took Younghoe Koo, and they scored 3 points. So maybe you fade kickers on this show. I don't know, but I think
the rule of thumb is if Austin bets it, you know, we're not going to touch it because they hit when he's not there. So you know what? Right. Austin won't bet it so that you guys can hit your bets.
I'm not touching it today. And it'll likely hit. You know what I mean? So I got you guys.
All right. So let's talk about a few games. Let's talk about your Eagles first. Eagles on the road in Indianapolis versus the Colts. It's an interesting line. You got a 6.5. I believe you may have Colts +7 on some books, but I believe the best you can get the Eagles is at 6.5. FanDuel does have, Colts +7. There's some money on Colts +7. People like the over as well. What are your thoughts on your team here in this game?
I'm honestly not touching the over. I'm going to stay away. I know it's at 45.5 even line, but I mean, the biased fan of me is like 6.5. Like, come on, it's the Colts. They got Matt Ryan in there. Like, is he really dicing up anyone?
Return to the mat.
I mean, the only scare for me is the Colts run game. with Jonathan Taylor back. The Eagles, honestly, I think people are overreacting with how their run defense was. The Redskins or Commanders, sorry, they only went 3.1 yards per carry. So it wasn't like they gashed them that bad on the run. It was more the third downs. So they went 17 for 20 on third downs, which isn't going to win you games. So they got to get off the field. I don't think Matt Ryan's going to be able to beat them. They brought in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh to try to stop the run better. So should be an interesting spot, but I think 6.5 is a pretty generous line for a team that's 8-1 that's took care of damn near everyone except one bad game. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction line.
What are your thoughts on this? Someone already commented actually, but I I like it. I was looking at this before.
Love it.
I think the one thing that they kind of got away from was the run game until the second half. It seemed like the Eagles, when they played the Commanders, just were throwing the ball or running it with Hurts. Like I think they realized they needed to utilize Miles Sanders, but they kind of realized too late to where there was playing with clock and the score. It was just a bad recipe there, and they kind of got. I love over 13.5 rushing attempts. I'm trying to find a good line. I see it's super juiced, -160. But I think that's a great bet.
I love it as well.
If you could do a first half, honestly, like over like whatever, I think they go early and often. To be honest.
Definitely. And like watching that game, it was 18 to 42 minutes with time of possession. So like the Eagles only had the ball 18 minutes in the game out of the damn 60 minutes. You know what I mean? So they couldn't really run the ball because they couldn't get control of the clock. So like when you're down and you're playing catch up the whole game, it's hard to start the run after that. You know what I mean? And then they had a couple 3-and-outs where they tried to run, but they just couldn't get it going. So I definitely like it a lot because they're going to come out and they have to get the run game. You can't sustain wins like 18 to 42. You know what I mean? Like it was one of the craziest. Like they kept Hurts on the bench the whole game. And if you're an MVP caliber quarterback, you can't be sitting the whole game.
That's true. Yeah. The time of possession was 40-20. And
40-20. Okay. I knew it was crazy.
Miles Sanders still had 12 attempts.
Yeah.
And they were losing.
They didn't try to abandon the run. They just didn't have the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like people were saying, oh, they got to get the run. They just didn't have the ball.
I think over 13.5 at -120 is a solid bet. I was looking at I was going to look at his yards, but I don't think the yards are the play. I think attempts are the play. I say that now, but when he has 10 attempts for like 90 yards, I'm going to regret that decision. But
do you have yards at 59.5? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's what it was.
I was saying 59.5 -125, so it's pretty juiced, but even that 60 yards rushing, if he's getting 14, 15 carries.
Yeah, that's a valid point as well. And let's see.
Like I'm big on Sanders today.
Yeah, I think he scores a touchdown. I hate betting touchdown props, but I think I was thinking the later weeks, like they don't want to let Hurts get hurt.
Right.
So I think you let Miles Sanders do more of the running. You let Jalen Hurts still be himself, but like, you do more designed runs than you did in past weeks. So yeah, I'm all over that. Honestly, I'm writing that down in my notes circling it in my notes. It was on my list. Anything else in this game? Do you lean the Eagles -6.5?
I do. Yeah, honestly, I'll probably won't post it as an official play just because I'll have everyone commenting like biased fan, and stuff like that. But like, even like all jokes aside, I totally think 6.5 is a very generous line. Like we wouldn't see another 8-1 team with this at 6.5 against a team this bad. And the Colts have positive vibes. They got to win with Saturday in there, but like, are we really thinking they're suddenly fixed because you plugged in a guy that's coached one game before? You know what I mean?
It was the Raiders that they played.
Yeah, like let's not act like they beat a caliber team. They're probably losing to the Commanders. They're probably losing to the Giants. They're probably losing to Broncos. Like, I don't know. So I'm not sold on them. Shaquille Leonard, he's out for the year, the best player on defense. So like, they just have a lot of holes, and so I'm not really ready to say, oh, the Colts are going to start covering spreads, and you know what I mean. 6.5.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Someone in our comments talked about, I think he stole our outline because this was the next game, Cowboys and the Vikings. Let me know your thoughts here. I'm like kind of torn. I did a futures article on this Cowboys team getting Dak back, but I also did a preseason future with the Vikings dominating the NFC North. Both look pretty decent, but this is like a clash of two teams that I like, that I really don't know who has the edge. I think obviously offensively you lean Vikings, defensively you lean the Cowboys. If it's a low scoring game, the Cowboys win, but the Cowboys, you don't want to get into a shootout with the Vikings.
Right.
So I think I may live bet this game depending on how I see it. Off the rip, I don't think I have anything. What are your thoughts here?
I think 125 is primetime Kirk. Playing a game at 125 p.m. That's primetime Kirk. I'm not like that's his best slate. That if you can look at the numbers, that's when he plays the best. However, I think the Cowboys at -1.5 is decent. They've played good football. I took them at -2 against Green Bay last week. They didn't cover, so they didn't win the game, obviously. But
They were up 28-14 in the fourth, though.
yeah, and like I hate to say it, but I think Dak is a little bit overrated as a passer, and I think he limits them a little bit. I think they're better when they give the ball to Pollard and Zeke.
Yeah.
And they got to find ways to get Pollard more involved. He's one of their best weapons. Like if you just see what he does when he has the ball, they got to get CD involved. They got Dalton Schultz healthy, so I think he's a big help for their offense. But I would lean Dallas honestly today, but I think there's a reason the line's so close. Vegas isn't sure as well.
Yeah, I think I like the Cowboys if I had to choose. Also, I think like teams are just due for losses, like the Eagles were. The Vikings have won 7 in a row since losing to your beloved Eagles. I just think it's time for the clock.
Killed. They got murdered. Yeah. I mean,
it's time. Well, that was prime time. We give Kirk.
We didn't forget about that though.
We give Kirk a pass. It was 8 o'clock. All right,
it wasn't 125.
We give Kirk a pass. He made some deal with the devil where he's like, you can make millions of dollars playing this game, but if you ever play when it's dark, you're gonna suck.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, I agree. I think Cowboys are the lean here. But
Vikings are getting the Vikings. Last thing, real quick, they're getting cocky. You see them on Twitter dancing on the plane.
Kirk Cousins got the chains on.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Justin Jefferson's getting a little cocky, almost pulled his hamstring doing a touchdown celebration. Like,
I did see that.
They're due for a loss. Like, the more I'm seeing it, like they're due for one. He's tweeting out any given Sunday when the Eagles lose. Like, they're going down. Dallas today. I'm talking myself onto it.
All right. Well, I think we both lean the Cowboys there. The next one is the Chiefs and the Chargers. Good divisional game here. Pretty big game for the Chargers, honestly. The Chiefs are winning the division at 7-2, and the Chargers are right there in second place at 5-4. If they could steal this win, the Chiefs move to 7-3, and the Chargers would be 6-4, so they'd be a game away. If the Chiefs win this game, it's looking like they're pulling away at 8-2. The Chiefs are also the best team in the AFC right now, given their record. Big game for both teams because the Chiefs want that bye, but they also want to distance themselves to kind of coast for the division. Last time they played, I believe the Chiefs pulled away late in a shootout on primetime, and I think they're on primetime again. I think it's the night game.
Yep, 5:20.
If I'm not mistaken.
West Coast time, 5:20 p.m.
8:20 EST.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What do you think is the play here? Are you riding Chiefs, or do you think the Chargers can kind of take this?
Well, looking at the line, like I think, like if this wasn't the primetime game, I think it'd be like 7.5. Like I think it would be a bigger spread. So 5.5, I think, with the divisional rival. Like I think everyone's expecting the Chargers to cover, and part of me kind of thinks that as well. Like they always split 1-1. You know what I mean? Like the Chargers and Chiefs, they always do that, and I think it just makes sense for them to win today and go 6-4, make it a tighter division race. So I think I kind of like the Chargers 5.5 plus 5.5 today.
Yeah.
With that being said as well, like the Chiefs are banged up. They're without Juju today. So, I mean, it's a good spot for the receivers. Pat Mahomes is going to have to get some other guys involved. But I would lean Chargers plus 5.5 today. But it's a game I'm not going to touch.
No, I think you're right. There's also two prop angles that people have been exploiting all year, and that's running backs receiving yards versus the Chiefs, and then also running backs just in general versus the Chargers. So it'd be interesting to see what the Chiefs decide to do, whether Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be the guy, if they're going to use Pacheco, if McKinnon's going to be involved. But I think they're going to do a lot of stuff on the ground, especially with Juju being out. It kind of makes the focal point all the more. I think they're going to throw in McKinnon and Pacheco and CEH and just kind of try to mix it up. I don't know. I would pick one, but I think they're going to mix it up so much. I don't know. I don't think I have a lean on a correct guy.
I'm a running back.
But Eckler receiving yards versus the Chiefs, his line is normally like 28.5. It's like 44.5 because but like to me, if I'd see Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are both questionable, if they both don't play, I may have to bite. But if they play, you can't touch the 44.5. That's absurd.
Yeah, 50 yards from her. Yeah, that's that's high. And the thing is, he could do it. Like, he definitely could do it. But that's just too high. And there's so many uncertainties in this game. Like, going back to the Chiefs running backs, like, they have Pacheco at over 12.5 rushing yards, or rush attempts, at minus 130. That line's usually at 7.5, 8.5. They don't even have Edwards-Helaire's lines posted. So, is he the guy? You know what I mean? Is he the guy they're going to ride with now?
Honestly, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's younger, I guess, by a year.
I actually see Pacheco as the starter today. But you never know. Sometimes they do that, and they just throw CEH out there for, the first 5 drives.
Literally, and they don't run a ton. So, if they split carries, he's not getting involved. You know what I mean? I got a prop. I got a prop though for you that I'm kind of leaning. Is Kadarius Toney? Is he getting involved today?
100%.
50.5 receiving yards.
I love it. What's his longest reception?
Let's see. Let's find that. $20.5. Minus 105.
He had 23. He had a 23-yarder last game. You think without Juju, though, I know Scantling's usually the deep threat, but, they got to throw some stuff in here. I like Toney. He had 5 targets last week. That was when Juju obviously got hurt. He also rushed for two times for 33 yards. I think they utilize him a lot. Maybe is there a line for his rushing yards? Because he in the 2 of the 4 games he's played, he's had 2 rushes for 20 plus yards. I want to see this over 1.5 or over a half
point.
Rushing attempts.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
I know they used to do what's his name?
Chase Claypool.
On the Rams.
They were doing Claypool as well for the Steelers. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I just with Juju, he was taking double-digit targets the last 4 weeks. If you average them out, those are a lot of touches that have to go elsewhere. Yeah, Kelsey's probably going to get a few, but they only have a few other options really. Scantling, Noah Gray might get involved a little bit. Sky Moore, I don't know if he's even been getting snaps anymore.
Yeah. I like everything Toney. I think Toney scores a touchdown too.
Anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he scored last week. Vegas has his line 4.5 minus 135 for reception. So 50.5 yards is pretty light for if you grab 5 catches, you'd think he should.
What's McKinnon's receptions?
3.5, and it's favored minus 155 for the under. I think the problem
he's had 6 in his last 2 games.
Yeah, it's just his snap share is a little low, so I think that's what concerns people on taking his line is he's just not on the field as much, but he's clearly a weapon they like to pass the rock to.
You could probably get a 2.5 at some juice then.
You probably could find it. You could probably find it if you took it at 2.5. It would probably be closer to even because it's plus 115 at 3.5. You could probably get
plus 120 on the book I see.
Yeah, I'm looking on DK right now.
Is that what it is on DK?
Yeah, plus 115 on DraftKings.
Yeah, you probably can't touch it. I do think I like the way McKinnon plays. I think I picked him first touchdown against the Chargers earlier in the year, and he did score. So he said Tony and Kelsey scaling. That's all.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
like
agree.
we've been pretty electric with our receiver reads on this show.
Yeah.
Like AJ Brown a couple weeks ago, Justin Jefferson. Like we've been pretty spot on. So I think it's Kadarius Toney today.
Yeah. Is that what we're finally deciding on primetime?
I'm feeling good with him, honestly. The more I'm talking about him, like he was
You know
faking an
what?
injury to get out of New York. Can't blame him.
I would too.
He comes to Pat Mahomes and says, "Hey, I'm ready to ball."
What's his line at?
50.5. I almost wanted ladder it and take it higher just to get juice on it.
Well, I'm pulling because I see 53.5 on some other books. So if that's already a good line, I like it. We're taking. That's it. That's the play. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah, I'm seeing 50.5 minus 130 on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's the play. We'll take the juice.
We'll lay the
play.
juice.
That is the play. Kadarius Toney over 50.5 receiving yards minus 130. I want to see a text at 9:00 my time from Austin in all caps, Tony, because I know it's going to happen.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, all right. That's what we agree on. I am totally sold on it. Anything else you want to talk about? Any other lean side
for that game
or anything? That was the last game on the list. We're going 20 minutes right now. I want to get off and watch this Qatar game later.
Oh yeah, that's soon. I mean, are you talking the Monday night game at all?
We can.
Just looking at the Niners -8 versus the Cardinals. They're +8 underdog. Interesting line, -8.
Yeah, that's a pretty
weird line. Like, is Arizona gonna get double digit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was first glance, like -8. I kind of like the Cardinals, but
it's also divisional. Is it? Yeah.
But yeah, just something I was observing. We don't have to go too in depth if you haven't looked at it yet. I
do want to say, yeah, that's a divisional primetime game. I'm taking the points every time.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. Some weird dude in our comments said Washington -3.
Oh, there he is. So he's okay.
He's all right. He's alive and well. I do want to say this as a play before we end it. This is what I'm leaning. I'm scared to death to post it. But if I do post it, just know I convinced myself from the hours that we ended. It is Joe Burrow to throw an interception at +100. He has 6 picks this year, but 4 were in week 1 versus the Steelers when they got upset in an overtime game. It honestly should have been 5, but they counted like a fumble off his hand instead of a pick. It was weird. It didn't even hit the ground. I don't know. Either way, TJ Watt's back just to face Joe Burrow. TJ Watt's like, I'm out for a while. Wait, I'm playing the Bengals. Oh, let me just hop in and play real quick because he dominated that game. They forced Joe Burrow to throw 4 picks. Joe Burrow's going to try to finesse him, try to get cocky, this and that, blah, blah, blah. There's one interception from that Steelers defense with TJ Watt finally back. It's a wrap, Buffalo Chicken. It's a wrap.
Yeah, Minkah Fitzpatrick's getting one today, honestly. He's getting one. I can feel it. Joe Burrow forces stuff, man. He does.
It's worth money.
He gets bailed out sometimes because of the receivers he has. People don't talk about that enough. I mean, I kind of like it. Plus money for an interception.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You threw 4 against him? You think you just aren't throwing any? Yeah. I mean, come on. What are you going to run the ball every time?
TJ Watt's back. The Steelers team's probably hyped. They could finally rely on him.
Vibes are up. Tomlin always has them play hard no matter what, even if they're not playing for something.
It's divisional, too. I mean, it's
only a 3.5-point line as well. Like,
this
game's staying close. They're going to have to throw. It's not like they're going to just run the ball. You know what I
mean? 1,000%. I agree. Well, there you have it. I talked about Daniel Carlson play. We did agree on Kadarius Toney for the primetime game, over 50.5 receiving yards. That is on DraftKings. That is going to be podcast exclusive. We will not post that anywhere else. So if you have friends that wanted to say it or look at it, please tell them to like, subscribe, view this video. It is towards the end. Just let them know. Appreciate your support. Please share this, retweet the tweets. Appreciate the love. Go follow Austin. and all that shebang. Anything you want to say? Word of advice this Sunday? Anything to the viewers?
Have a great meal. Get hydrated up. I'm ready for some football. Honestly, it's gonna be a good day. Vibes are up. I woke up feeling real good.
Vibes are up. We're gonna kill it.
Let's have a day, man.
My winter advice for you guys: when it starts snowing, if it's yellow, do not eat it. Okay, that's just a rule of thumb.
Smart.
But all right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. As always, best luck in your bets. Peace.